2026. I know it's still kind of weird to say it, but as we head into the new year, I know something all parents and kids are thinking, how do we get better this year? Well, more ice time sounds great, but between school, family time, and just being a kid, it's not always realistic, right? So, what really helps young players grow is hockey IQ, learning how to read the game, make confident decisions, and understand why things happen on the ice. And that's where our title sponsor, NHL Sense Arena, continues to come through. Sense Arena uses VR and mixed reality training to help players work on the mental side of hockey. It gives kids meaningful reps, helping them build confidence, awareness, and strong habits at their own pace. So for skaters, that means better reads and puck control, and for goalies, faster reactions and improved tracking. And for coaches and parents, it means purposeful development that supports what's being taught at the rink. So to get started with our special offer, visit sensearena.com/OKPH and use the code OKPH to save an extra $25 off an annual plan or headset bundle if you need one. Once again, that's sensearena.com/OKPH. Use the code OKPH. Get yourself that discount. That's 50% off the standard monthly cost, plus an additional $25 when you use the code OKPH. Welcome to 2026. Let's get you into this episode right now. Hello, hockey friends and families around the world, and welcome back to another edition of Our Girls Play Hockey, or we could probably change it to Our Women Play Hockey. I don't know if that sounds weird or not for this episode, because today, Hayley Scamurra and I are here, and we're going to be recapping what was and this is super fun here, a monumental event that happened in Washington, D.C. This year. It's 2026. It took place in January. The PWHL Takeover Tour, which for those of you who don't know, the PWHL plays in several different arenas around the year. It could be NHL arenas or just gigantic venues to spread the love, to spread the wealth, to spread the enjoyment of PWHL hockey. And Hayley, I'm the host, so I'm introducing it, but you really are actually the authority on this as someone who plays. So before we get into the actual DC event and what made that such a huge success, can we just get your general thoughts on Takeover Tours in general? Because it's not the first time they've been doing it. And the success it's always successful, but it varies, right? You're in different cities. Talk to us, about what it's like to pull yourself out of, kind of your home venue into these large arenas. I mean, that probably is a pretty big change. And then also, do they tell you at all about how they're choosing these places, or it's just the schedule says we're in Washington today, we're in New Jersey today, so forth and so on?
The takeover games are awesome. I think it's great to bring the game to locations where our teams aren't, they don't have the home markets for. I think in year one, it was big, and in year two, they did it a lot based on where they thought they might expand to, just to see how the markets did and, how excited they were for women's hockey, which obviously majority do really, really well. And so that's been really cool to see. And I think, especially in a market like DC, where you maybe wouldn't think that they'd be into women's sports, but if you actually know the area, you know that they're huge fans of women's sports. And so it wasn't surprising to me, but it was incredible to see how much they beat the record by. And especially with not having a home fan base, it was just the players they wanted to see. That wasn't I felt like they were rooting for Montreal a little bit more, but overall, they just want to see women's hockey, and they're excited to have a team there. So it was really fun and enjoyable. And I love the takeover games. They're a lot of fun, and it's nice to see different markets that don't have women's hockey to watch regularly.
I love them too, because not only is it a celebration of women's hockey, but of hockey as well, right? And these takeover tours really are kind of a weekend or multi-day event. So we're actually going to kind of reverse engineer this one. The event ended with fans shouting, "We want a team," pretty darn loud. Again, we're going to go backwards in time. What did that even? I mean, you're never supposed to ask this question. What did that even feel like? I mean, first off, did you hear him yelling that? And then, is that empowering? I mean, even after the fact, right? I mean, it's kind of unprecedented, right? What does that feel like to you?
I'm not going to lie. I didn't notice it during the game. I noticed it in watching the broadcast afterwards, and I was like, that is incredible. But what I did feel during the game was their energy level was next level. because sometimes you go to takeover games and you can't really quite feel the energy because they're not really rooting one way or the other, or maybe they're a little quieter. That happens sometimes, but the DC fans were not quiet. They were very loud. They were very excited, and I know all the players. We all could feel it on the ice, and so it was a lot more fun to play with that kind of environment.
Now, I imagine too. You said you didn't hear it. Now, the reason you
Mhm.
didn't hear it is because there, and I'm going to say it just like I saw it. There was a bit of a scrum at the end of the game, bit of a pile
Yep.
up. Some penalties were handed out.
Yep.
I want to go two ways on this. One, because it was a scrum, like that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was the media or different people. Like, I can't believe that there was a scrum at the. Did you see the big fight at the end of the game? And
Yeah.
I'm like, it was a scrum. I mean, it wasn't anything big. Why don't we get the Hayley Scamurra, because you were right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the overview. I mean, of what was just a scrum. But what's your feelings on that,
Yeah.
Hayley? Because it did go a lot of different directions.
Sometimes it's frustrating because I think it gets more attention because we're like women fighting, and it's just like, what could have possibly happened? What provoked it? And I go, we're trying to score. They're trying to stop us from scoring. We got close to their goalie. They got mad about it. People are starting to push. And then you go in to protect teammates, and then one thing leads to another. Like the typical thing that happens
Right.
in hockey. Yes, it got a little extended because it was the end of the game. Emotions were high. But it wasn't anything too crazy. I guess the craziest part was someone from their bench came off the bench, so she did get suspended for a while. You're not allowed to do that, everyone at home. Um, so that was like the biggest thing. And then she tackled someone from behind. So I was like trying to yank her off. Like it did get a little crazy there, but overall it's like it's just typical what happens, end of the game and everyone's getting close to the goalie and they don't want you close to their goalie.
So I think the big reveal here, I'm being sarcastic when I say this,
Yeah.
hockey's hockey. And
Yeah.
that, as you said perfectly, Hayley, that scenario happens once a week in the NHL. It should not be a
Yeah.
shock that it happens in any hockey game, whether it's women's or not.
Mhm.
And what I loved about it is it just shows the passion that we already knew was there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we
Mhm.
needed that in order to see it, but it's hockey, right? And I think that the fan base responded like, "This is hockey. This we're watching hockey right now." It was a great game for in terms of just the overall atmosphere of the game. I know one team had to win and one team had to lose, but
Yeah.
it was exciting. You mentioned it earlier too. New U.S. attendance record was set: 17,228 fans. That is a NHL capacity rink right there. Sold
Mhm.
out in Washington, D.C. on kind of a, not a random, it was a MLK weekend. Okay.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's just amazing. You said it before, you might not expect Washington, D.C. to come out for a game for that, but they absolutely will. I mean,
Mhm.
girls and women's hockey in, we'll just say the Northeast, even though Washington's technically below the Southern line, right? A lot of hockey teams out here, right?
Mhm.
Now, I'll also say this too as well. There's been, I won't call anybody out. There's been other NHL venues, haven't seen that kind of attendance, right?
Mhm.
So it's a bit of a perfect storm. And I can say this too, again, reverse engineering it, Haley. This was not just the game. The day before the game, open practices with both teams. Obviously, it was Montreal. There, when I was there, we actually got to meet for the first time in person,
Mhm.
which was pretty cool. I had my entire Little Flyers girls 10U team down there, and boy, were they excited to see the team take the ice. All the players. I mean, we should probably go through because a bunch of stuff happened during this practice that I'm not sure anybody expected. So it started out amazing with I'm doing it from kind of the coaching fan perspective.
Yeah.
Walking in, you walk in, and some players messing around the ice, and the team starts to come out. For me as a coach and a father, there's nothing quite like seeing the young girls run up to the glass
Mhm.
and see you all come on the ice, and several coming right over the glass and knocking on the glass and saying hello, right? I mean, it was a mix of like, we're pros, we got to practice, but we also have to say hello, right? Why don't you tell me that from your perspective? Because it's almost like you guys rush to see each other. It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I think the open practice concept's really fun. We do it at all the takeover games, and I think that really shows the hunger for women's hockey
Yeah,
because I mean the
it
whole
was packed.
arena was packed.
Yeah,
Like that was crazy. And just to see us practice, we're like, this is just a day-to-day practice. Like that's so crazy. And so we do like to make that extra effort to make sure we say hi to the young girls and the fans who are there who came out to see this. They took time out of their day and made signs and all of that stuff. So we really appreciate the support. And I know for me, I was running late, and I never run late. So I was racing out there, that I saw you guys, and then tried to take a quick pic, and then I heard the whistle, and I was like, "Oh, gotta run."
Yeah,
But
yeah, that was
overall,
pretty
it is
cool.
really fun to have people at practice and watch us and support us, and yeah, it's been great.
Well, and just to give you a shout out to how big of a pro you are, like somehow you came out and saw us right away. It was pretty quick. And I
Yeah.
remember I kind of gave you the salute. There's always a moment of like, will she even know who I am? And I could tell,
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, she recognized me. Then you came to the glass, the team rushed to the glass. We did get a picture of you,
Good,
but
good.
just to tell the fans at home, the whistle blew. Like the picture is in 3 pictures. It's you waving, and it's you turning, and it's you skating away, like
Yeah.
as the whistle blew, because like that it was militant, right? But that's how
Yeah.
practice runs.
Yeah.
I can tell you what's cool about from a coaching standpoint, youth coaching standpoint, since this
Mhm.
is a youth hockey show, is we're able to tell our girls, we had kind of a bad practice,
Yeah.
the practice before this takeover tour. All right.
Uh-huh.
So we were in a position of like, do you see how hard they work? Do you like
Yeah.
we were in a positive way, like watch
Yeah.
how they skate. And then we were having some issues with our breakout. They were watching you do your basic breakout drills.
Yeah.
And we have not had a bad practice since. I'm not
Really?
kidding. All right. And you can tell that it had an impact on them for them to see that.
Mm,
I'm going to take a little bit, pull a thread on this a little bit from a coaching
okay.
standpoint, because I think, especially at the younger ages, we don't show kids enough what it should look like, what the next level looks like, what they
Mhm.
may look like, right? Sometimes that seeing it and visualizing it is a game changer, right?
Sure.
And Hayley, this is cool for you. Like now when the girls go on the ice with us, it's like, hey, they're just like the PWHL players. They're out there
Yeah.
practicing. There was a huge connection point there. Now this is just one practice we're talking about. You're doing this all over North America, right?
Mhm.
Who knows the impact this is having? And I dare to ask, like, do you even know the level of impact? Keep in mind, you probably won't see it for a few years in terms of like what it turns into, but you've got with that. It was completely sold out at this practice. Like you
Yeah.
could not find a place to stand. And then sorry, I did ask a question. I'm excited, obviously, but you see all these girls. I know you mentioned a minute ago. Do you feel the impact, or is it just kind of fun right now?
I feel the impact for sure, but it's always nice to kind of hear little stories like that, and then how much it means to the girls just by saying hi, just by tapping the glass to them. Like it makes their day, it makes their season. And
Yeah.
so to be able to have that kind of an impact just means the world to me. And it's something I take very seriously. I like to, mentor young athletes and things like that because I never had that. And so I'm very passionate about that. And it's yeah, it's always really nice and reassuring to hear like we are having that kind of impact just by showing up and being professional female athletes.
So I know that during the practice, there's some things that happen
Mhm.
you do know about, some things you probably don't know about. The big thing that I think caught everybody by surprise was about 20 minutes, maybe not even 20 minutes in, the whistle blew. And
Yeah.
everybody went to the bench, and we're all kind of watching, thinking, actually, we were thinking, oh, maybe the coach is going to say something
Yeah.
to them. And then we noticed Poulan got on the bench, and then out of nowhere, this guy, Alex Ovechkin, shows up, just standing on the bench. And we're all standing there like, that's Ovi over there. And, as dads, we're like, that's the greatest goal scorer in NHL
Mhm.
history hanging out there. I again, from a fan perspective, we're watching. Obviously, there was some jersey trading. I'm going to shut up. You were right there. You were right there. Just walk me through that situation.
He is my favorite player, like, of all time. So I was freaking out. It was really nice to see him and Pierre-Luc Dubois were there as well. And just showing their support, and it really meant a lot. They were saying they were gonna try to watch the game on their computers in the air because they were traveling, like, the next day. Um, but yeah, it just means the world to us when the professional male athletes kinda, like, see us as equals and, like, come support us in that way. And then with the jersey swap, he asked Poulin for an autograph, right? Like, little things like that just mean a lot, and it just kinda shows that they're humble and they respect us, and, yeah, it goes a long way.
Yeah, it's so huge for lots of different reasons. Again, we're talking about the greatest goal scorer in NHL history.
Mhm.
Absolutely acknowledging the importance of this, that you are hockey players, that this is real.
Mhm.
Again, I'm not saying it needed that.
Yeah.
It's just such a great thing to see.
Yep.
Right now, after that happened, you guys went back to practicing,
Yeah, that was
which is
kinda
just like,
crazy.
yeah, no big deal. Just go back to practicing.
Gotta go focus.
Yeah. Now I'm sure you're aware of this after the fact, but now I start getting again. I'm in the stands area, and I get word. And this is cool. Hey, Kachuk's on the other side of the
Yeah.
building. right? The Florida Panthers are in town to play the Washington Capitals that night. And Matt Tkachuk is just on the other rink, right? You can walk over there right now. Now, this is what's cool about that situation. Several of the dads did go over to kind of check that out. The crowd on the PWHL small did not get any smaller. Like everybody stayed. I wanted to be there, right? So that was pretty cool. So now it's an interesting situation where there's two rinks. You've got, you know, a lot of Team USA and Canada represented now on the ice. And people are still sticking around, right? So you finish your practice, your goaltender goes over there, takes some shots from Tkachuk. That got all over the internet, which is pretty cool. I don't know. Did you hear anything about that? Did you find out about after the fact?
Oh, she told us all about it. Yeah, she because they actually offered like Addie Rock to go out there. She goes, I don't want to shoot with you guys. Like you guys you're good.
Right.
But then Anne went and she was dying. Like she was so tired. She got off the ice because they were just go, go, go.
Right.
But she just said it was incredible. Like their shots were so hard and it was really fun to just kind of be out there with them for a little bit. But she was a little gassed there for sure.
Yeah. For those of you listening, remember, we're just talking about practice right now. We're not even, like in the game yet. And then I'll say this is really cool. At these takeover tours, the PWHL tries to do a lot to create the environment for kids to be there. So we all went upstairs afterwards. There was free face painting, free poster making. The pro shop was open up there. And again, I had my whole little Flyers team upstairs and they were just kind of hanging out. And it's funny because at this point, I don't really know where you're at. I don't want to bother you. I kind of sent you a text like, hey, like, just thanks for coming over to the glass. I was content with that. And as I'm looking down at my phone, I hear Hayley, and I turn around. I guess I just realized that's your name too. Anyway, you said Hayley, and I turned, and there you were. And it's always surreal to meet someone you've spoken to 50 times for the first time. But I know things are right because we just right into a conversation. Now, this is what's funny about it, Hayley. I know I've got 30 seconds before everybody recognizes that you're upstairs. So we had really quick. It's so nice to meet you. Had a quick conversation. And all of a sudden I look and can I have an autograph? Like when Steve started coming up, and within 15 seconds, my entire team was over there asking for autographs. And I'm going to say it. Hayley signed every single one with a smile. She had conversations with all the kids. It was actually going on for so long. And you actually kind of made a joke about this. I don't think you realize it. They were running to the pro shop and buying blank pucks and running back. So I was
wondering. They just kept coming with new things. I was like, all right, here we go.
Right. They were running the pro shop. And my favorite one was one of our players came up with a goalie helmet. And you're looking around like, is this okay to sign this? And then, you got a double clearance from me and her dad to sign that. But they were just ecstatic to be with you. Like you didn't have to do that. Like I said, there was a signing going on kind of downstairs. You needed tickets for. But you came up to see me and our team, and it stayed with them. I mean, you got to meet my daughter too. You took pictures with everybody. We got an awesome picture of it. We'll probably use that for something with this episode. So first off, I want to say thank you for that.
Of course,
your professionalism in that moment just shone through. And the other thing too is that, and I always like to remind people this. When you see us or hear us on the air, it's a broadcast, right? Like it's a version of us. But Hayley is Hayley. Like when you see her off the air, she's the same exact person she is on the air. I'd like to think the same of myself. Right. But what a cool moment with these kids. And now we're having great practices, Hayley.
Oh, you're so welcome. Honestly.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Right. So that's how the practice ended. Kind of a perfect afternoon. Obviously the kids were down there, by the way, for a tournament, which they did very well in.
Good.
We were really, really proud of them. Nothing quite like a boost before a game, like seeing a PWHL practice and player, right? So now the night comes, the next day comes. Now I got to tell everybody, I was not able to go to the game because I was coaching, right? That's the ultimate excuse. I would have been there with the whole team if we could have. Our producer, Caitlin, did get out to the game. And the report from her was that the atmosphere was just incredible. All right. Now, we did talk early in the episode about kind of like the end of the game, but it sounded like from the second the game even began, there were people in the arena. Talk to me about the atmosphere. Talk to me about the energy, and talk to me about the impact that has. Because, look, you got to bring it every night, no matter where you're playing. All right. Whether it's 5,000 seats or 20,000 seats. Right. What kind of an impact does that have on you as players, opponents, everything?
It's a lot easier to kind of get amped up for it when there's more fans, and especially when they're loud. Because when it's quiet, it's sometimes you can feel the energy of both teams is kind of diminished a little bit, I would say. But when you're in a loud environment, when you're with a lot of fans, you immediately like you play up a little bit more energy, more intensity, all of those things. So that was huge. I heard from people who worked for the Caps that it was like louder than any Caps game they had been to that year. Like I just think it really just shows the excitement they have to, see women's hockey, and they want a team for sure. They
They
made that
really
very
do.
clear. And so that was really cool. And then for me, just the history with it. My dad played for the Capitals. So that part was really meaningful. And then they had like a little video for me because I worked for the Caps as well, doing like learn to play programs and everything. And they made like a little welcome back video for me, which was really sweet. So it just shows like the classiness of the Capitals organization and how proud they are of the DMV area and what they've done to grow women's hockey. Like when I was little visiting that area, there was no hockey. People did not know what hockey was. Like they were perplexed by it. And then now there's girls teams everywhere. So it's really cool to see, and just very, grateful for that organization. And they kind of made a little second homecoming for me because I'm from Buffalo, New York, but it's like a second home for me there for sure.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, and for those of you whose the name Scamurra sounds familiar, like we don't talk about it a lot, but hockey runs in the family. You want to talk a little bit
Mhm.
about that with your ties to the DMV because they
Yeah.
really did do a great job of honoring the family.
Yeah. So my dad played for the Capitals. He was the first person drafted out of Buffalo to the NHL. Played for the Capitals in like the mid 70s. But that's how I met my mom because my aunt was married to the goaltender at the time. And then that's how they met. And, you know, here I am today. So I, hadn't really realized it till I'd done interviews, but like I have them to thank for my literal existence. So I think that's just kind of crazy.
Right.
Because there's no way they would have met otherwise. So um in that sense, the Capitals organization is very special to me. And then also with me working for them for the last 2 summers, because like all my family, like my mom's from the Maryland area,
Yeah.
and all my extended family's there. My brothers are there, my nephews, nieces, and so the last few summers I've worked with the Capitals, and they've been nothing but welcoming to me and providing me with so many opportunities that they would provide the NHL alumni. So I love the DMV area. It's great.
Yeah, I'll echo what you're saying that the Caps are one of the easiest organizations to work with in the
Hmm.
NHL. We've done some stuff with them. We've had interviews with members there, really actually from an educational standpoint about how important they take reading and their
Hmm.
programs. I didn't, another funny fact. My mother is from Maryland as well, so
Oh.
there's another little connection, the Silver Spring area, for those of you familiar with the DMV area. And
Mhm.
I do want to give a shout out to the Capitals too, Haley, because they really did highlight you.
Mhm.
And I'm going to say this in the way you should have been highlighted.
Oh, thank you.
Excuse me. I'm not breaking up. I just had something in my throat there. But it just the fact that they went out of their way to interview you, they had you drop the puck the night prior
Mhm.
against the
Yep.
Panthers. I love seeing that. Now, I will say, we found you first. Okay, from a broadcast
Yeah.
standpoint, we've been doing this longer than the Caps, but I think it's just
Yeah.
really great that they took the time to honor you and your family like that. I know you kind of commented on that already, but
Mhm.
tell me about the process. How big of an advance did they give you that, hey, we really want to take some time here and talk about the Scamorra line in hockey?
I had done the one interview with the Capitals like over the summer because I had a
Right.
little inside scoop that we were having a game there. In terms of the day of, like even the day before, I found out like the day of that I was going to do the puck drop, and then I was going to do all these interviews, and I was like, okay, cool.
Right.
They gave us great seats in the vault, which was sick. If anyone hasn't heard of it, it's like they have these new suites at the Capital One Arena, and then it goes out and you're basically like glass side at the rink, and it was really really nice. Like they gave us like prime seats, so that was incredible. And then for game day they had my mom come in and do the lineup, which was really
I
cute
saw
and
that.
sweet. And then had no idea they were going to play that video at intermission, like because I knew I did the interview, I just didn't know when they were going to air it or if it was just going to be on socials or whatnot. And then I did the interview on the jumbotron after the game. Like I did not anticipate that much attention. I really didn't. Like, I wore my dad's jersey before the game and
That
stuff
was
like that. So
awesome.
I just figured like I'd get
Yeah.
a little attention, but
It was a lot.
it was incredible.
It
Yeah,
was a lot.
it was
Yeah.
insane. And I'm very grateful, and it was very sweet. But my whole family was like taken back by it for sure. They were like, that was beautiful. Like that was really nice. And they were so glad they were able to make the game.
Right.
So yeah, thank you again, Capitals organization.
You deserve all of it, Hayley.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, we're kind of going. I told everybody we're going to kind of go backwards and all over the place here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the puck drop real quick because it's it is an interesting thing. So puck drops typically reserved for armed forces. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I'll give a big shout out to the New York Siren, who had my team, the Puerto Rico women's national team, drop the puck at the Takeover Tour game in New Jersey where the Devils play. Which was a massive deal for our team, right? Two players, Jocelyn Modal and Estela Vasquez, got to drop the puck before that game, which was, I mean, that brought joy to my heart. But we're like guests in that sense. You're a professional hockey player. So walk me through. I mean, are you a fan in that moment? I mean, what does that even feel like? And then there you are out there with Ovechkin again, just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah. We got ushered in like a different entrance, we're waiting, and it definitely is a little nerve-wracking, like walking out with that many people, because like when you do it for a hockey game, you're not really thinking about it, you're just playing hockey. But for that, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to trip, I don't want to fall, like I don't want to do the wrong thing or drop the puck at the wrong time. So we were kind of joking around, we kept asking all these questions, and the person probably thought we were like,
you just go out there and drop it. That's you just go out
it's
there,
not a big deal,
and drop the puck.
But it's very like complicated procedure,
right.
But it was super cool, and like Ekblad and Ovi came up for the drop, and then got to shake their hands and everything, and they were like asking us like how seasons was going and things like that. So it was really cool. And then like all the Caps players gave us fist bumps on the way down. That's awesome. Just little things. It was just really nice of them to have us out there for that.
Yeah, it's special. I meant to say this a minute ago too, but we actually have to kind of shout out Caps fans because in recent years there's been success, there's been milestones, there's been a Stanley Cup. But outside kind of the mid to late 90s, a lot of pain in this franchise. You know what I mean? Like it was not known as a winner for many years, but these fans run deep, and they have stood by this team for decades, and they know their history. And I think it says a lot that since you dropped the puck, you play in the game, they highlighted you. It really is a cool shout out to the Caps organization, and I don't think that they get. How do I say this right? I mean, I know they're a legit franchise. That's not where I'm going. I just think sometimes the Washington Capitals are like, oh, it's not Montreal. It's not the New York Rangers. And that kind of is in their own way, right? They run real deep. So I think that's pretty cool to see. And look, the PWHL Takeover games have been amazing. Again, New Jersey, Washington, they just did one in Denver. They had one in Seattle. The newest one that I know about that's been announced is Madison Square Garden, which I will say it. That is the pinnacle in terms of locations, right? You don't get any bigger than Madison Square Garden when it comes to hockey. When you heard that, I mean, is that an eyebrow raiser? Is that like, oh, okay, like that's the Garden. That's a very special place. What's from a player point of view?
It would be incredible to be able to play at that game. We actually got to play there. So when we were our union before the Pro League started, we actually got to play a game there, but it was during COVID, so there was no fans.
Right.
But low key, kind of an incredible arena to get to play in empty, because you really got to enjoy like the architecture of it, how beautiful it was, the history of it. So that part was actually kind of cool in a way. However, seeing it filled with women's hockey fans will just be absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to see how that game does. I have a really good feeling it's going to do really, really well. Because I just think it's such a special arena to be able to play in. And I know all the players are super excited, and I'm sure the people in New York City are excited as well.
Oh, I bet. I mean, we know who one of the teams is going to be.
Yeah.
So we know Siren are going to be playing there. We'll see who their opponent is, but
I think it's Seattle.
It might be. What they should do is have everybody play there. Like, maybe do more than one game there. Right.
Maybe next year.
Like play everybody at least one time in there, or at least over the next few years. But again, for those of you who haven't been to Madison Square Garden, I don't know how to describe it to you. I worked there for many years. It is a special place. It has its own aura. There's no way I'm going to do any justice in trying to do it here. I can just tell you that it is a different environment than anything I've ever been in. And I've been to many NHL arena. All right. So just that is such a nod to the value, to the success of this takeover tour. Now let's look to the future here, Hayley, because the takeover tour, in essence, if it succeeds, will actually destroy itself. There won't need to be takeovers anymore because you'll just be in NHL arenas,
Yeah.
right? You know, we got to really think about this. The PWHL is in its third season. 4 years ago, this is impossible. It's not even being talked about. And we're going to Madison Square Garden here. I mean, it's insane, right? I mean, can we reflect on that for a minute about the speed at the growth here? And we talked about this in another episode. If this was a fad, it would have been done by now. This is not a fad. This is so real and so awesome and growing and getting bigger, right? And look, there was even talk at one point, I'm going to kind of do this for the naysayers, that, oh, it's just the Caitlin Clark effect. Like, when Caitlin Clark's not in the picture, like, they're only doing it because of Caitlin Clark. I'm calling BS. Like, that might have been the catalyst that started it, but his heart is beating. It is moving. It is amazing, right? I can't, my mind's blown and I'm not even playing.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And here we are talking about it's probably selling out at Madison Square Garden. Like, there's no
100%.
doubt in my mind that it's going to do incredible. And I think that in it of itself just shows the growth of women's hockey. Like, before we're like, oh, let's hope the lower bowl is filled. It's like, no, we're selling out at rinks. Like,
Yeah.
it's not really a surprise anymore, right? Like, Denver did really great despite having the Denver Broncos playing their AFC Championship game that day. Yeah, and a snowstorm. So it's like,
sorry, Bronco fans. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But yeah, so it's incredible, and it doesn't, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't go by us like how incredible it is, like the growth that we've experienced and how much it's going to continue growing.
Right. And that is the goal, you know. And another question I want to ask as we wind down here is, these takeover tours are going to keep happening. We've been begging for one in Philadelphia. I don't know what the holdup is there. We'll see what happens, but they're going to keep happening all over North America. For the parents listening, right? Let's talk to them for a minute about, you find out the PWHL is coming to your city. It's a major opportunity, right? How can parents and coaches and organizations use that momentum, the aura, the fan engagement to kind of grow the game in their area? And we're not just talking about girls hockey. I think that's actually really important to mention here.
I think it's important. Yeah. Girls and boys hockey. I think taking full advantage of, like, we do community clinics like the day before the game. We have our open practices where you can see us like a little bit closer in person. Tickets to the game. I think it's so important for girls and boys to see women at that level so that there's that respect level where it's like men and women can all play professional hockey. So I think, why not take full advantage? Come to practice. It's free, right?
Free.
Like the clinics, I'm not sure exactly how that works, but like, sign the kids up if they want to try hockey. It's a great way to try hockey.
Right. And I'm going to reiterate, it's free. You know, for those of you, again, wondering, okay, how do I find out? Just simply follow at the PWHL or wherever you follow people, because they're very upfront about posting. And if you want, follow the teams too. They do a lot of great content. It's really fun to see. You know, to each their own and how you want to do that. But the information's readily available for you to get involved. And I'm going to say it again, not only my daughter, but my team had a wonderful time. I mean, they still talk about it. Such a big moment for them. You know, one of the things that I like to talk about, I talked about this with some of the parents of the kids, was I love to pinpoint, like, now they never have to not see that again. Like, now it's happened. Right now they saw it. They saw professional women's hockey. That sets a bar for them of they've seen it, so it exists. They get to a game, it exists. Again, sometimes people roll their eyes when I say this. Guys, like, it didn't exist before it existed. We've seen it our whole lives in the NHL, right? There's only 3 years in. For my daughter to see you out there is such a huge deal. Now that becomes the bright light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's I don't know. I can't downplay that, or I'm sorry, I can't upplay that enough for young girls, right? You know, I know you feel that. We've talked about it many times on and off the air, but every time you step on the ice, you are trailblazing every single time. And I think the cool part for you is that while you've mentioned that you feel that responsibility, at the end of the day, you're just a hockey player playing hockey, right? That's how you do it.
Yeah. And I have to remember that too, and not, you know, make the moments too big and things like that. But I think also remembering that helps you kind of bring yourself back to reality a little bit too, that like, it's bigger than us. It's like for that next generation to keep playing and to keep having fun with it, because that's what it's all about.
Right. Totally agree. And then last thing I'll say, just because I saw it in person, if you guys want a good lesson on a great hockey stride, watch Hayley skate. Low to the ice, head does not, just really great skating technique there, Hayley. I noticed that as soon as I saw you. That's Coach talking. Now, Hayley, listen, that's all we're going to talk about. It was just a wonderful event. We talked about it from right afterwards that we should probably document this because it was special to me. It was special to you. It was special for hockey in general. And you got in the score sheet with that 10-minute penalty you got. I mean, just had to get that in there somewhere. Forever on that score sheet now.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, there you go. But I wanted people to make sure that they saw this as more than that game that ended in a scrum.
Yes.
It was a great hockey game with 17,228 fans in attendance to set the new U.S. record in attendance in the PWHL. And not to mention an amazing practice the day before for all the people in attendance. It wasn't 17,000, but it was enough to fill the practice arena. So, Hayley, thanks so much for taking the time to document this with us today, as always.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing it with everyone. It was really fun and incredible, and just so grateful for it.
Yeah, thank you. And last shout out for me, for those of you watching, you'll see behind me now, the set's been upgraded. We've got a Victoire jersey and a Team USA 26 Olympic jersey, both teams that my co-host plays for. That's the coolest thing I'm going to say today. But you can get those online if you want to at the PWHL.com. Okay, for Hayley Scamurra, I'm Lee Elias. Thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Girls Play Hockey. Remember, if you have a question for Hayley, if you have a topic you want to discuss on this show, email us at team@ourkidsplayhockey.com or use the link accompanying the episode in the description. Tap on that. We cannot respond to that, but you can text us your name, where you're from, or just do it anonymously. Any questions you have, we love hearing from you. That's going to do it again for Our Girls Play Hockey. We'll see you at the next Takeover Tour location or the next time you listen to the podcast. Have a great day. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. Make sure to like and subscribe right now if you found value wherever you're listening, whether it's a podcast network, a social media network, or our website, ourkidsplayhockey.com. Also, make sure to check out our children's book, When Hockey Stops, at whenhockeystops.com. It's a book that helps children deal with adversity in the game and in life. We're very proud of it. But thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey, and we'll see you on the next episode.